Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. And inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the 15 best brawlers to max out currently for ranked. So these brawlers are going to really help you out in multiple game modes. Are going to be, of course, a few niche picks as well, and of course some of the best brawlers in the game, which we've already gone through in our tier list, but let me explain why they're so good in ranked. So before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's over like 60% of you guys are unsubscribed, so please do it. Without further ado, let's go into it. So first off, the first brawler you must absolutely max out for ranked is Hank. So believe it or not, Hank is one of the best brawlers in the game, top 3. And I know that it's obvious that his hypercharge will get nerfed in the future. In like a couple of weeks, I'd probably predict in 2 or 3 weeks. He's still absolutely broken right now. His hypercharge is literally a free win button. There's no other, mechanic in the game right now, which just, you don't even have to aim. It automatically homes in on the targets and kills everybody in overtime. So Brawl Hockey and Brawl in particular, Hank is like the best brawler. He's really good in hot zone as well. And people are saying, of course, that the hypercharge is going to get value on open maps. Well, you compare Hank with a wall breaker, then it's even better. Also, he's good on closed maps anyways, because it's just Hank. He was always good anyways. And before the hypercharge, he was like a low C tier brawler. So I think people are underrating him already. Also, the gadget change really helped him, spamming out his shield as much as possible. I just think he's such a good pick. Just play him already. Next up on the most max out list for ranked, we have Ollie. So again, some people are unsure why Ollie is so good, but in pro play, in ranked, every single game he's pretty much banned out because of how strong he is. I knew straight away, as soon as I played ranked, I just abused Ollie as much as possible because he was just so incredibly strong. If you guys are unsure why he's so good, it's because of his super and his gadget combination. You super in, you jump in as well. Once you land onto someone, you stun them. Well, you hypnotize them 3.5 seconds, which is insane. And then you get the 4k HP shield on top of that. And he also, I think, has like the 3rd highest HP in the game, which is insane. 2k damage with some good range. There's so much to like about Ollie. Of course, he can be countered, but I just think overall, the space that he can provide, again, his numbers won't be like crazy in terms of damage, but he will always make a game-changing play, and you can hardly ever stop it. There's nothing that really counters it, except for like maybe Poco protective tunes, but still, I just think he's such a strong brawler. May as well max him out, and I don't think they'll really kill off Ollie with any future balance changes. So next to one of the most max out list, we have Mr. P. So again, another brawler that's kind of just rose to fame. He was like one of the worst brawlers in the game, and again, no, he wasn't underrated in the previous meta. Okay, I've seen these comments just like Janet. He wasn't, but he now is one of the best brawlers in the game. I think he's slightly overrated in like bounty, knockout, and then sometimes it takes him too long to get hypercharge, but it's still the fact that once you get hypercharge, it's game over. So of course you do need that purple button with him, so it will cost you some coins or gems. And again, he's still really good as well because of the portal reinforcement gadget. What I like to do is put the gadget cooldown gear on him, spam out gadgets. That helps me charge my super. And then of course, once you get the hypercharge, like I said, it is completely over. So play him everywhere but knockout and bounty. I mean, you can play him in knockout maybe to counter other snipers, but I'd rather just go something else. But yeah, he's broken elsewhere. Next up on the most maxed out list, we have Poco. So in the previous meta, he was starting to become a pretty solid brawler, but now he's absolutely insane in draft. The reason why he's so good is because he can counter so many different brawlers. Again, one of the best brawlers in the game. He can counter Ollie with the protective tunes gadget, and that also just recharges so fast, which is crazy. So every time Ollie has a gadget or super, you can just cancel that out. And of course, he's one of the best counters to Lou and just other brawlers with any type of effects. And then, of course, you've got his healing gadget, which is just so busted. The cooldown on that is just really, really fast. And you pop on the gadget cooldown gear on him, and yeah, he's just absolutely broken, just spamming gadgets galore. And then you've also got the fact that you can easily outdraft opponents. The typical first picks here, for whatever reason, I like, I don't know, Stu, Janet, these low DPS brawlers. Well, 2-3 pick, you can just go Poco and something aggressive, and you can just win the draft from that because of how much you can just spam the gadget like crazy. And again, the typical counters to Poco, for example, I don't know, in the past, like M's, Lou, blah, blah, blah. Well, protective tunes could counter that in the past, but literally it just counters it every single time. So Poco hardly has too many counters to him, except for like wall breaks and range. So next up on the most max out list, we have Stu. So Stu is still one of the most goated brawlers in the meta right now because you can just pretty much pick him into everything. Again, you can get outdrafted if you play Stu pretty early on, but you still just have a good chance of winning the game. In hot zone, for example, his speed zone turret just literally never ever dies. You're going to have that every single time with a gadget change. Of course, his hypercharge as well charges really, really fast, and the recent nerf just did absolutely nothing to him. Again, Stu's just a really safe pick. There's hardly anything that fully counters him out there. I think in pro play, you definitely can counter Stu first pick, but still, it's just pretty solid. In ranked, you're going to get away with it for sure because people just don't really synergize too well in draft with, you know, like, again, if you're looking to counter Stu, you go like Berry and other things like that. But again, you can play Stu like in Gem Grab, Brawl Ball, Hot Zone. Brawl Hockey is one of the best as well, what I've not mentioned yet. So yeah, Stu's absolutely insane. Still S tier brawler. Next up on the most maxed out list for ranked, we have Griff. So I'm really liking Griff in ranked right now. In competitive, he already was seen in Europe as one of the better brawlers in the meta last meta, and now he's even better, to be honest, because he just pairs with so many of the meta brawlers. The reason why he's so good as well, he has unlimited wall breaks, so the longer the game goes on, the more open the map's going to be. And of course, you normally pair Griff with like, again, like a B, lose something that likes a really open map, and you can just dominate with it. And the good thing about Griff as well, I think there's only a handful of brawlers in the meta which I really think counters Poco and Berry compositions, and Griff is one of them, because of course you open up the map, you can outrange a Berry, you can outrange a Poco, and you can also out damage them, because the super damage buff which you received a couple of months ago is really substantial, so you can really start chaining your super Griff. Also, he's really good in Hot Zone because of the business resilient star power. If you're up against tanks, you can switch over to the other star power which shoots faster, so he's just a really good brawler in the right now in the meta. Really solid A tier. So next up we have Ash, and I'm really liking Ash in this meta. Again, another brawler that's just got even better. So the reason why I really love him, I mean, he's only good in Gem Grab and Brawl Ball specifically, but there he's insane. I'm just picking Ash even early on in the draft. Again, if you're facing off against multiple low DPS brawlers, for example like Penny, Janet, Stu, well, Ash can always be your guy. Also, I think Rotten Banana is a decent gadget, but then I didn't realize that his Chill Pill heal gadget also has a really low cooldown as well. So the way that it works around that is when you throw out your rats, you want to make sure that you pop the healing gadget, because by the time, you know, you're going to, of course, exhaust a lot of your rage by popping that gadget. Well, the rats are going to build up your rage again. So it's just a hack. You just cycling supers like crazy. The hypercharge as well is busted. Hardly anything can stop him in his tracks there. Yeah, I just think Ash is absolutely go-to in those two game modes in particular. There's hardly anything that counters them. So next up on the most maxed out list for ranked, of course, we've got Berry. So Berry in competitive was wild, and that was before all the changes. If anything, he's probably actually got a little bit worse, but he's still just absolutely busted in the right composition. So I will say, if you're playing with randoms, it's pretty hard to coordinate a good Berry composition. So I see this mistake a lot of the time. So towards like legendary, I think you can do some really good Berry strats. Of course, in Hot Zone, you pair it with a Frank, Draco, any sort of brawler with a lot of HP, probably more so in this meta, Hank and Ollie, for example, rather than the likes of Draco, not as good in this meta. But yeah, as I was saying, like Berry's the problem with him right now is that he cycles through super so quickly. The way you want to use him is just make sure that you're taking as much damage as possible, and then use your super. Don't charge into someone, use your super against like a wall or something to shorten the distance, so then you're, of course, when using your super, you're quite vulnerable. Or you just use your super across the Hot Zone, so then your teammates can just heal off it. But always aim for your teammate, because he actually gets supercharged back from that, of course. And then the hype charge itself is just really good. There's just so many compositions that Berry counters, because his healing is just exponential. It's just crazy. There's so much to like about Berry. So next up on the list, I've gone with Meeple. So probably a surprise pick to a lot of people, but the play rates with Meeple in ranked are just going through the roof right now. So he's good across multiple game modes, so let's go through it. So Brawl Hockey, he's one of the best brawlers there. So no matter what gadget you use, both gadgets have busted with Meeple, and that's one of the main reasons why he's rose up so much in the meta, because unlimited uses on broken gadgets, of course, is really good. So he's got the Rage Quit gadget, which stuns people in Brawl Hockey, so defensively really good, and then offensively, if he gets in position right near the goal, he's going to score with that gadget no matter what. There's nothing stopping it, which is just crazy with a click of a green button. He's really good in Hot Zone right now, again, with the Dice gadget, where you can just shut people off, get onto the zone. You know, if they haven't got a throw, you can literally box yourself in and get confirmed percentage, which is insane. And then Meeple's good on Brawl Ball, but good on Gem Grab. I've seen him used in Bounty as well. He's just crazy right now. The pros are loving him. Of course, it's Meeple. Literally, his main attack doesn't miss. That's the crazy thing about it. As long as you're conservative with your ammo, which on defensive maps and game modes you're going to be, as long as you're pairing with an anti-tank, you're going to be good. So yeah, Meeple's a really good brawler right now. Next up on the most maxed out list, we have Lou, and Lou still is one of the best brawlers in ranked right now, mainly because he's one of the only few brawlers that really hard counter those aggressive ideas. So again, like I mentioned, Griff and Lou, they're probably the only two massive ones in this meta that can just counter anything. His hype charge rate got nerfed, didn't really do too much. Still one of the best brawlers in Hot Zone, still one of the best shutdowns tanks in Brawl Ball. Still really good option in Gem Grab, good as a late pick and knockout to counter any kit cheese, and really good in Brawl Hockey as well to counter the melodies and all this aggressive ideas. So yeah, can never go wrong with a Lou. he's still broken in his meta. Next on the list, we have Squeak. I just quickly want to mention as well, I've not put Melody on this list, mainly because I'd say that even only select 3 pros can play Melody, so it's a little bit of a tough one. I don't recommend maxing her out right now. But anyways, we're going to be going into Squeak, and of course, Squeak is definitely one of the biggest revelations in this meta. I was saying he's like a D or C tier in the previous meta, and now because of the wind-up gadget, getting like an 11-second cooldown, it's actually made him absolutely insane. Again, I think he's better than I'm even saying right now. I just don't really want to say it too loud. The wind-up gadget is busted. Double the damage. Again, you don't even have to use this as maximum range, for example. You just use this as a main attack. Doubling your damage is, of course, absolutely insane. And then, yeah, he's just one of these brawlers which you pick later on in the draft that can just counter some of the meta brawlers right now. For example, he's a good counter to, like, Stu sometimes if you play it and don't feed his super. Good counter to the likes of Penny, Janet, etc. All of these low HP brawlers and mid-range, Squeak's really good. He's going to be good in Gem Grab, Brawl Ball, Hot Zone. That's probably it, really. But, I mean, he's getting better in Knockout and Bounty because of his wind-up gadget. Really underrated. You need to try him out. So next on the most max out list, we have Janet. So she's probably one of my favorite brawlers on this list in the sense, like, no matter what, I end up banning her out in that sense because she's so strong. But also, you know, again, if we have first pick, just pick Janet into everything. A lot of times people go, like, aggression against Janet, which, of course, is pretty good. But then you're still feeding a hypercharge, which a hypercharge is like the most broken thing in the game right now because it's just a guaranteed kill every single time. You then got the gadget to scout bushes, so of course she's really good on that bushy and maps. She's still got decent damage output as well, so although sometimes she might get overrun, like I said, she's still going to output some decent damage as long as the anti-tanks in your composition. You've got to be pretty good. Another thing I like about Janet, she's just so flexible. She can play as a mid because she's got good range. She can play as a lane. She can just kind of do anything on any game mode in particular, as long as you're constantly being aggressive with Janet, especially on those maps where you might get outranged, then you're going to be good to go. You can never go wrong with Janet. Next up on the most maxed out list, we have a Leon. So I just want to claim my I was there early card on Leon. I still think that B tier might be underrated him. I think he could be A tier in his meta. The lollipop drop gadget is just broken considering you could just spam it out like crazy. He's like one of the best brawlers in Brawl Hockey, absolutely. You can easily make so many plays with his invisible super and the opponents just won't be able to predict it. And again, like that lollipop drop gadget makes it so good in Brawl Hockey. Defensively, they never know where you are. Gem Grab, you give it to your gem carrier, they don't know where you are. Hot Zone, not the best because he doesn't have the most damage output. Brawl Ball, again, not really the best, but when you look at Knockout and Bounty as well, well, particularly Bounty, he's really, really good because you just need that one super and you can chain. Again, Smoke Trails is really underrated in Bounty, for example, because you can really cycle your super effectively. He's got a busted hypercharge as well. I think people are sleeping on Leon. I think you should try him out more. So next up on the most max out list for ranked, we have Brock. So this is one of the first times in years I think I've recommended to max out Brock because he's actually really good right now, specifically in Knockout and Bounty. So I think he's a sleeper pick that people still aren't realizing his potential. Again, he was one of the first brawlers I noticed straight away. He was very, very good at Knockout and Bounty because of his rocket fuel gadget. You're able to break open the map to counter throws, for example. You're also just able to confirm kills a lot easier with this gadget. And again, of course, being able to hit people with ease with this gadget is literally unmissable. You're able to cycle through to your super more effectively, which you can confirm kills easier with the more rocket star power. So there's just a lot more going for him now in this meta, in my opinion. I'm not really seeing him too much outside of those game modes, but still, just because of how good he is in Knockout and Bounty, you must max him up. So moving on to the final brawler on this list, we couldn't make a ranked list without B. B is absolutely busted in ranked and actually one of my favorite brawlers to play because she's the ultimate hard carry brawler. Whenever, even in previous metas, if I was playing like the championship challenge or just trying to carry randoms, normally I would go like B or Rico, but B definitely is that brawler now because of the hypercharge. I mean, it's a really good hypercharge, but it's not even needed. You just need the rattled hive gadget, you need the gadget cooldown gear, and just click green button and you win so much. But anyway, yeah, but the hypercharge is really good as well. She can output so much damage and she's pretty flexible, right? You can play her in Hot Zone, one of the best Hot Zone brawlers. You can play in Brawl Ball as a good counter and a good mid, well, good counter to those assassins and tanks. And then Gem Grab, you can play her as mid if you want, not really the best, but you know what I mean, you can always play B everywhere. Won't recommend it Knockout and Bounty, but that gadget spam just makes her so good. Brawl Hockey as well, she's the ultimate carry in that game mode. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down in the comment section below whether I missed out on any brawlers, but I think this is a pretty solid list. Taking a look at like all of the game modes, trying to get the best arsenal. Like literally, if I was to have 15 brawlers to push to masters to pro rank, I'll pick these 15. So that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.